In 2015, the BBC released a movie about Rockstar Games, which resulted in a legal battle and an attempt to purge the movie from existence. However, I have a copy, and let me tell you, the movie is hilarious. The only thing about this movie that could have threatened Rockstar is the possibility that it might be funnier than anything they've ever made.
Be cool, these are English
Do
boys.
not tell me to be cool, nigga.
They make Grand Theft Auto.
I'll make GTA. Yo, I love that game. I'm playing for hours.
It is titled The GameChangers, and amazingly it stars Daniel Radcliffe as Sam Houser, one of the founders of Rockstar Games.
If you make Carl attractive enough, somebody should have sex with him.
Yes, seriously, the guy who became famous for playing Harry Potter. You're the president of a video game company, Sam. I'm a what? Rockstar's impression of the movie can be best summarized by their tweet to the BBC, which read, "What exactly is this random made-up bollocks?" The movie was pitched as a docudrama, which means it combines factual real-life events with dramatic storytelling. In reality, it's more like they looked at events that actually happened and then just made shit up about them. The BBC was out there doing it long before YouTube drama channels. Rockstar, of course, did not endorse the program, and Take-Two, their parent company, filed a lawsuit for copyright infringements. Although they were unsuccessful in their attempt to halt the production, the BBC did only air the movie exactly once. And since then, it's effectively impossible to find, which may be Take-Two's doing.
They're fucking us! The suits! Were you ever a human being?
It seems as though the creators wanted to seriously tackle some of the controversies that happened with Rockstar and video game violence in the early 2000s, but it just comes off as a comedy.
Sam, fuck you.
If you play violent video games, you will go to hell.
It's Hillary Clinton. For you.
As you will soon see, they tried to throw too much into a 1.5-hour movie. In order to squeeze everything in, they tried to speed things up by exaggerating things to the point of absurdity, or just making stuff up. For example, in this movie, there's an entirely fictional scene where people are protesting outside Rockstar's offices, demanding the removal of violence from video games. This movie may as well be trying to paint the picture that the best way to describe the history of the entire world is that a bunch of unimportant stuff happened, and then Rockstar released GTA San Andreas. Basically, I don't think this movie is a good way to learn about the events of the past or to learn about people who work at Rockstar, but it is great to laugh at. So the movie starts off with the release of GTA Vice City in 2002, which was arguably briefly the most successful video game, and so Rockstar was obviously very happy.
We sold 1 million units. 1 million. In one fucking day.
I mean, if that's a normal response to being happy about something, then perhaps I've never actually been happy in my entire life. In his defense, that response makes more sense if he means this literally.
Finishing Vice City nearly killed everyone.
In 2002, we were this close to human extinction and we didn't even know it. What else is Rockstar hiding? So around 10 minutes of the movie is just people at Rockstar sitting around describing what they want to do with GTA San Andreas.
We have to take it to the next level. A world full of incredible, realistic detail that evokes real emotions in the players. Yeah, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, fucking cool vibe. South Central LA.
A Black Hood game.
Can't make a game about that. Why not?
We're British.
What? Really? Shit. Pack it up, guys. That's sufficient reason never to do anything.
We need new ideas to move us on.
A black.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah, let's take it black.
Has anyone done that?
No, we will.
Could we get Samuel L. Jackson?
I mean, well, obviously, if you're going to include black people in something, you have to include Samuel Jackson. I don't make the rules, that's just how that works.
You and I know we are only just scratching the surface of what these games can do now. I want to create a completely real world, right, for grown-ups, where you don't have to become a penguin.
You got it, boss. Fuck penguins. 100% Sam got scammed playing Club Penguin.
When people talk about video games the way they talk about films and music, that's when we've done it.
Shawshank Redemption, Michael Jackson's Thriller, Custom Fast Track, the mission in GTA San Andreas where you move 3 crates to the docks. These are the most socially impactful media of our time.
Our hero, Carl, should be able to improve himself too, right? To change, so you can make him thinner or fatter or sexier or stronger. You know, you can change him.
I mean, it is true that while playing, I did admire how sexy and strong Carl was, and I did go out of my way to try and make him sexier and stronger. So mission accomplished.
So I think it'll make people feel incredibly emotionally linked to Carl. You are the hero. The hero is you.
You are a young black man from the hood.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Get video of every street around here, Jane. Yeah, is it safe? Yeah, get filming, it's fine. Oh, we should get the programmers down here too so they can see it for themselves. Iterate on it.
Put the smack down on
The streets speak to you.
Woo!
Yeah, I feel very English. You don't look it. You look like a bad shit mother. Know what I'm saying? Are we hoping to see a drive-by?
And here we see the native gangster in their natural habitat, confronted by outsiders. The British, once again, where they do not belong. Let us see how the gangster responds.
Who are you?
Hey, my man, don't sweat. These are English fellas I'm showing around.
Oh, that's a rookie mistake. Not something you want to mention. Nobody likes the British. This could cost them.
Why you got that rip in your jeans, boy? That a Crip thing?
Is it? I'm not a Crip, I promise
Be
you.
cool. These are English
Do
boys.
not tell me to be cool, nigga. I'll decide when I'm gonna be cool. Who are you?
I'm DJ Dog from South Park, man.
No, the fuck you're not. Get out of here.
These fellas are just here doing research on a game. They make Grand Theft Auto.
Yo, I love that game. I'm playing for hours. Yo, tell them I'm playing for hours. Don't I play for hours?
Yeah, man.
Y'all want to make a game around here?
Yeah, a game that's set here. Maybe you can help us.
Like, can I be in it?
Yeah, but what's your name? And where'd you get your jewelry?
So we see that Rockstar has narrowly escaped danger because their shit is indeed banging. But for Sam, there was one aspect of the game that mattered the most. One thing that he would not compromise on, that the game must be able to do.
You want to have sex? Via Carl? Finally, you can.
There you go, finally giving the people what they want.
If you make Carl attractive enough, somebody should have sex with him. I want a proper sex scene this time round, but a full-on sex scene. If you treat Denise right, she'll have sex with you. It's only fair.
You can't put a sex scene in a game, Sam.
Yes, you can. Why not?
We need a sex scene for San Andreas. Sex, very important for the vibe of the game. I'd like to see full sex. Also blowjobs, whipping, being whipped, vibrators, and masturbation. I'm sorry, masturbation. When can you show me?
This sex scene in San Andreas, it's gotta be good. It's gotta be something proper that can get people excited.
She invites him in for coffee, he goes in, has full-blown sex. And a blowjob.
Sounds great. When can we see it? It's really important for the vibe of the game, and it has to be as good as the best sex scenes in movies. Whatever, just make it fucking good.
And so as you can see in this very serious montage, every person at Rockstar Games began working on the sex scene. Man, woman, dog, didn't matter, working on the sex scene. Night and day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Until they created a true masterpiece.
We've been looking at how we can incorporate the sexual content you want in San Andreas without hurting sales. It's a question of how far we can push the creative envelope in this area and still get a mature rating.
If we get an adults-only rating, about 80% of shops and distributors in the US, particularly Walmart, won't stock the game.
Broadly, male nudity is acceptable as long as the penis isn't erect.
No erect cocks.
That's right.
No penises, no vaginas, no nipples.
You are breaking this man's heart.
So that scene you've got animated of Carl having sex with Denise, I wish we could include that stuff, but it's not feasible.
What's wrong with this country? I can walk down the road and get an Uzi if I want to. They're sending kids off to kill people in Iraq, and heaven for fucking bid anyone sees a woman's nipple.
It's America.
I'm not gonna bend to this. Sex is a perfectly acceptable thing to have in a piece of adult entertainment, and we are not pushing boundaries without it. Maybe we should just be an AO game. We're a game for adults. Like, fine, let's just be that.
That would be retail suicide.
Who cares? So we sell half of what we hoped, at least we get to make our game. I'm not having the content of my game dictated to me by a bunch of moronic shopkeepers.
Truly is he a man of principle, artistic integrity. He will not bend, torture him, take his family, kill his dog. He will not bow. Let's see the next scene.
Fine, take the scene out.
What? What a twist!
Happy?
Forget it. Listen, San Andreas is due. Clear your head. Finish the game.
So this sort of concludes one of the major aspects of the movie, which is the making of San Andreas. And then of course the game comes out, and spoilers, it sells quite well.
People love how they can adapt Carl.
Forget that. Have you seen how many units we've sold?
That's amazing.
But of course it isn't all sunshine and sex scenes, for the movie also covers a scandal where Davin breaks into a car and is then arrested. While at the police station he grabs a gun, kills 3 police officers, and then steals a police car. This is based on a real life case, and just like in the real case, this young man was known to have played GTA Vice City, which catches the attention of the crusader for justice, Jack Thompson.
Why do I do it? What can I say? Because I'm Batman. I'm an attorney at law based in Miami. When they arrested you in Mississippi, apparently you said, life is like a video game. You've got to die sometime. He said it was like a flashback, like he was playing the game. I just don't believe he would have killed those men if he hadn't spent hours a day practicing doing exactly the same thing in that cop killer game.
You don't know it was the game made him act that way.
But it was the game. I think the people that make these games are partly responsible. training our kids to be killers and making money out of it.
Wait a second, are you telling me the reason why I stopped using Uber and I started stealing cars whenever I needed to get anywhere was because Rockstar was training me to do Grand Theft Auto? It makes so much sense now. No wonder I've stolen thousands of cars over these many years. It's Rockstar's fault. They're training me to do this. Or, you know, that didn't happen, because that's dumb. Despite the painful stupidity of it all, Jack Thompson tries to argue that Rockstar was ultimately to blame for these men dying.
We believe what Devin did was an impulsive act, made more likely due to the fact that he played a violent video game for weeks beforehand.
There is a clear link between teenagers playing violent games and violent behavior.
We want the makers of these obscene games to take some responsibility and help stop other police officers from being killed. We will win, I promise you.
Will you though? Are you sure? Are you sure about that, champ?
This lawsuit will put the video game industry on trial, designed to make every police officer in America safer.
How much are you seeking in damages?
$600 million.
Not only is that number real, that is what they asked for in real life, but adjusted for inflation in 2026, that would actually be $1 billion. And I mean, at that point, why not just ask for $1 trillion?
We're gonna destroy Rockstar Games. You can count on that.
You can probably understand how scared I was when I heard this when watching the movie for the first time. I was like, I have to keep watching to find out if he succeeds.
I'll take too worried about it.
No, it's America.
It's litigation crazy. The US is the most censored country by miles.
I'm aware.
So after filing a lawsuit against a multi-billion-dollar company, Jack Thompson says to himself, I should probably learn something about the thing that I'm suing multiple companies for. Like, I should know something about it so I don't look so stupid in the courtroom. You know, it's America, so you file the lawsuit first, then you figure out what the hell you're talking about. Oh my god, this is what I'm suing them over? This game is awesome. I don't want this to go away. Maybe I'll just play dumb and pretend I didn't file that lawsuit and pretend I've never even heard of the game. As long as someone doesn't catch me playing it.
How long have you been playing that game?
Patty.
Shit!
It's not what it looks like.
That's what they all say, Jack. It's time for you to admit you have a problem.
I just thought I'd better exactly understand what it is I'm objecting to. I mean, how dare these people make this deprived garbage and force it on our children?
Yes, Jack.
I gotta tell you, as a GTA 6 voice actor, he's kind of right here. I see Rockstar employees all the time at nurseries, preschools, playgrounds, pushing their stuff on kids. It's disgusting. There was this one story where Rockstar threw so much merch at a kid he literally suffocated and died. True story. Now if you'll excuse me, Patty, I need to find out what happens to this Tommy Vercetti fellow. You know, for research purposes.
You're saying that the same area of the brain that processes traumatic stress in real life is also triggered by violent entertainment?
When we use these violent games to train soldiers, we call them combat simulators. And young kids use them. At home, they're murder simulators. Same thing is going on in both situations. You're training young people to kill. You're making killing a conditioned reflex stimulus response.
If the more you play GTA, the more competent you are as a military killer, then just consider me to be Rambo.
We could have killed them all.
I learned how to do it playing Grand Theft Auto. To be fair, 20 years ago, we didn't have the last 20 years of research showing that there's no evidence that playing violent video games makes you more likely to be violent in real life. But even without that, this case was only ever gonna go one way. Your Honor, it's possible that video games can cause a person to be more violent. Okay, what's the evidence that was related in this specific case? Well, it could have been involved, so no evidence at all. Technically, no.
I hear you're campaigning against the people who make those violent video games. They're fucking with our kids. Fuck these people. Fuck them.
Well, I certainly intend to.
I'll pray for you, and I'll send them some hate mail.
God bless you.
Who the fuck was that?
I believe that if it wasn't for that video game, Devin Moore wouldn't have killed those cops. Rockstar Games gave him a cranial menu that popped up and offered him the option to kill the police officers, shoot them in the head, and flee in a police car. Devin Moore, in effect, was trained to do what he did. He bought a murder simulator, and he played it for hundreds of hours.
A game does not make someone a criminal.
Maybe we should tone it down for San Andreas. A bit.
No way. This is a free country. We're allowed to make the game we want to make.
We can't go around curtailing people's artistic freedoms because of one lunatic.
If they don't understand games and they want to blame someone for these deaths, but rather than blame this kid's parents or failed education or zero job prospects, this man wants to blame us. I'm not changing a single thing about GTA.
I personally disagree. I think anytime someone is murdered, we should find the murderer and look at what they did in the previous 24 hours and just ban literally everything that they watched and or did. You know, why risk it?
Hello?
I'm gonna kill you fuckers.
I can't believe they put that in this movie. It was entirely unrelated to the situation, and I know that for a fact because I was the one who called. It was just because Jack owed me $15. It was justified. $15 in 2005 is worth like $1 million in today's money.
People who really want to kill you, they don't phone you up and warn you, they just do it.
Yes, I know.
No, I did really want to kill him, but I was 14 at the time, which made international travel kinda hard. Now what ultimately sinks Jack Thompson, I kid you not, is that he couldn't stop rage posting on the internet. I'm not joking.
They say Thompson's his own worst enemy. He's a big mouth. Can't help himself.
Your client and what it does is indefensible. You disgrace us as lawyers. Shame on you.
And it's disgusting how your client makes very difficult missions, but then does not put checkpoints in those missions. It makes the games very hard.
You okay?
Doing battle, honey. Doing battle. These men have done their level best to promote what John Paul II called a culture of death to American children.
Mom, is Dad okay?
He's doing what the Lord wants him to.
My son, I ask of you to send forth hate emails to the world. If you can throw in a slur or two, that would be a bonus.
Who are they?
Rockstar's lawyers.
800 pages describing all your campaign, despite the case being active, including press releases that you have written about this case before it's even been heard.
Ray, they want me off the case. They're scared of me.
You've been on the Today Show 7 times talking about this.
8 times. And Fox News.
You know it's not allowed. You're killing our case, Jack, before it's even started. Did you write to the CEO of Take-Two telling him that you're gonna take him for every penny? Did you say in the press that Sony dumping GTA on American kids was effectively Pearl Harbor too?
Did you DM the head of Rockstar Games to call him a little bitch who couldn't complete GTA San Andreas without cheat codes?
Yes, I did, and I don't regret it.
All of these communications are fundamental violations of bar ethical codes.
I'm happy to step down. My colleague can prosecute it very ably without my assistance.
Bitch, what?
Given your manner and your numerous violations of bar ethics, you will not be taking part.
Okay, Jack, now look disappointed. Don't let them catch on that you're happy to now have the free time to go home and play GTA San Andreas with that sexy CJ.
The question before this court is whether Devon Moore's crimes are the result of his use of Grand Theft Auto. Since the plaintiff's experts have acknowledged that they have never met Devon Moore and have no personal knowledge of his specific crimes, I cannot consider their evidence. Since they have never met Devon, they cannot know whether he engaged in scripted behavior. In fact, I am entirely unpersuaded he carried out his violent actions because he'd been programmed by a video game. Case dismissed.
This case was the equivalent of suing a pineapple company and accusing them being responsible for a bunch of murders, and then bringing forth a bunch of pineapple experts to establish that, hey, maybe it's possible that you could kill a person with a pineapple, but then never once thinking that you should try to establish that pineapples were actually used in any of those murders.
What do you want from me, Lord? Is this what you want?
I want you to stop being a whiny bitch. So we end Act 2 with Sam Hauser walking out into the street performing Grand Theft Auto, and text saying there is no conclusive evidence that video games make people violent. The debate continues. The next facet of the movie, I kid you not, is ping pong. These guys really, really like ping pong.
So we've created a new game engine. We're calling it the Rockstar Advanced Game Engine.
Rage. Okay, so how are we going to show Sam what it can do? Trying to build a new game engine is about producing an authenticity to movement, right?
Yeah.
Do ping pong. Look, Sam loves table tennis.
Not shooting someone or driving a car.
Ping pong.
Okay.
Stop what you're doing, everybody! Ping pong competition!
This does not get better than that.
To this day, Rockstar will not hire you at the company unless you like and are good at table tennis. Doesn't matter how good you are at programming, they will not let you bring down the office average.
Denise, right. Oh, 21-11. Next, gangster.
And then Hauser, I'm gonna take you down.
That's what love that.
Oh. What was that, Jamie? 2-0, wanker. It's the best animated movement I've ever seen. I fucking love it. This should be our next game.
Table tennis.
Yeah.
Redoing Pong.
That we'll do World Championship table tennis. We'll do the best, most exciting, most authentic table tennis game that's ever been made.
All right.
That is 100% real. In 2006, Rockstar did release a table tennis game, and it got quite good reviews. But the movie makes it clear that it wasn't easy.
Those table tennis screenshots are shit. The crowd perspective's all wrong, the colors are too muted. What has JP been doing for the last 2 weeks? Here's my feedback, he's fired. No, seriously, go to San Diego and fire him. That's twice now he sends screenshots I won't put up in a kid's classroom. Does he realize how fucking untalented he is? Or does he wake up in the morning going, fuck, I'm not that talented, or is he oblivious to his own shitness?
Yeah, sure, I'll ask him that as I fire him.
First, this man loses his sex scene in GTA San Andreas, and now he loses his ping pong screenshots. When will the suffering of Sam Houser end? In Act 4, we move back towards GTA San Andreas and its battle to not get rated as adults only due to the hot coffee controversy.
Anything we need to know about from a ratings board perspective?
No. Should be another mature rating.
Yeah, suits! Man, have you played GTA San Andreas yet? It is unbelievable how much cool stuff there is to do in this game. Driving, gambling, dancing, killing people. You can turn Carl into whatever kind of badass hero you want him to be. Change his clothes, change his weapons, get him fit, get him fat. Make him whatever you want. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Pow!
But there was one man who liked the game perhaps more than the average person. Patrick, a Dutch modder from the Netherlands. His love of the game combined with his modding skills causes him to make a remarkable discovery.
Zie hier code dat eruit ziet als een animatie, maar hij past niet in het game.
His girlfriend's not caring at all is easily the most believable thing in this entire movie.
De animaties leken gecodeerde seksscènes.
What? How did they get a hold of this? It's had thousands of hits and it's been up 2 hours. How the fuck did this get out there? Don't answer that. No, I'm serious, this is gonna get brutal.
I assure you that sex scene is not in the game. It's a third-party modification made by some hacker in their bedroom and then put on YouTube.
Well, it's had over 20,000 hits now.
20,000 views! They are done. There's no recovering from this. 20,000 views in 2005 is like 1 trillion views in 2026. How could they possibly recover from this? The entire world stopped to discuss the possibility of an animated sex scene in a video game.
Geen idee van dat dit zou gebeuren. Haal de stekker er maar uit. Ja, haal de stekker er maar uit.
While the hot coffee controversy was bad news for a lot of people, it did make one man in particular very happy.
I prayed for something like this.
Embarrassingly, in real life, some people at Rockstar did try to suggest that it was modders who made these scenes and they didn't actually exist in the game's files.
The integrity of our rating system depends on customers trusting our judgment. And if there's been a violation, we'll take appropriate action.
But there hasn't been a violation. I'm telling you, it was the modders.
Waar dat u de zeiling heeft gemaakt van.
Mijn manier heeft niets nieuws gebracht. En ook dat ik heb laten zien, staat zo al op de DVD. Nou, als Rockstar het ontkent, ja, dan liggen ze.
What were you fucking thinking?
I'm trying to protect the company, Sam.
By blaming the modders. It's the most stupid PR decision I've heard of in my life.
Fuck you.
As if things could get any worse, the government decides to bring out the big guns.
It's Hillary Clinton. For you.
A shock appearance by Hillary Clinton in the 4th quarter, and she has a chair. In all my years of commentating movies, I've never seen such an underhanded play.
If you didn't want the sex scene in the game, why'd you leave it there in the code where hackers could find it? Why didn't you just remove it fully?
Well, Michelle, because it is complicated. Right, to remove something like that is hard.
You know what else was hard? CJ, which was part of the problem.
It was too complicated for you to remove this prohibited sex scene from the game.
Is it not true that far from removing the sex scene, you deliberately left it in a place where you knew it was highly likely to be found?
No. No, okay, absolutely not. Jeez, I thought you guys were on my side.
Harry, they're obviously secretly working for Voldemort.
As a parent and a politician, Hillary's very concerned about these games that are being sold to our children.
It was certainly a bold creative decision to cast a black woman as Hillary Clinton and have her speak in third person. Maybe race swapping in movies has gone too far.
In addition to the violence, These recent revelations about this so-called hot coffee sex scene perfectly demonstrate what little regard these game designers, these Brits, have for our federal laws or the welfare of our children.
What scientific evidence is there linking violent video games with violent behavior?
There's lots of precise scientific evidence.
Hey, it's full of shredded newspapers.
They re-rated the game as adults only. Take-Two are pulling every disc out of every store in America at a cost of $25 million.
So that did happen. It cost $25 million to take back all the physical copies of the game that were still in stores and then replace them with copies that didn't have the hot coffee files on them. Obviously, they wanted to lose that adults only rating and go back to having a mature rating. While it does suck to lose $25 million, to put that amount into perspective, GTA San Andreas made $100 million in the first 5 days of its release. So it does suck, but it's not the end of the world, and the movie does nothing to communicate that.
The Federal Trade Commission has been ordered to investigate Rockstar over hot coffee. This is all because of the briefing I gave Hillary. Just goes to prove, if the Lord asks you to do something, you sure as hell better do it. Hello?
Why are you such an asshole?
Why am I an asshole? It's a hate call. Why do you think I'm an asshole?
I'm sorry, honey, I have to take this. It's an important call. It seems to be a stranger, a young child, in fact, who wants to talk to me about whether or not I'm an asshole. It will take a while. Hi.
The House of Representatives have voted 355 to 21 to investigate hot coffee and whether we committed fraud.
Fraud? What fraud?
Misleading the ratings board, misrepresenting the game.
Oh, that's insane. Somehow these people in Washington have become convinced that we are responsible for teenage sex and violence. It is ridiculous. If these scenes were in a film or a book, no one would even blink, and now this beautiful game we made is only going to be remembered for this shit.
Sam, looking like a tortured genius who just got back from fighting in Vietnam, works very well in this scene.
You're doing this talk tomorrow at school?
Yeah, I'm just writing it. If you play violent video games, you will go to hell. I'm just kidding, okay? I'm not gonna make things worse for you, Johnny, I promise. I want to make it better. This is the greatest computer ever devised. You have a choice. I think you should be aware of what it is you're putting on your cranial hard drive.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. After years of searching, we have found peak cringe.
If you are found guilty of false representation, fraud, eventually you could be looking at a fine of many millions of dollars.
It'll be the end of Rockstar Games if they even go halfway.
Fine, I get it.
The end of Rockstar Games? Bitch, please! Take-Two, Rockstar's parent company, was worth $1.5 billion at the time, and the lion's share of that was Rockstar Games. If they had been fined millions of dollars, they would have dug in their couch cushions and found the money that they accidentally dropped in there and have been fine.
I just want it to be over now.
Can people just let this man play table tennis and make animated sex scenes in peace?
Good afternoon. This way, please.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Hauser.
It seems that you've been living two lives, where you go by the hacker alias Neo and are guilty of virtually every computer crime we have a law for.
We're here to ascertain exactly how it is that the so-called hot coffee sex scene ended up on the DVDs of San Andreas. We have all your email correspondence on this matter over the last 3 years. You like to use profane language in your emails, don't you, Mr. Hauser?
Yeah, I'm very sorry about that.
Fucking how dare he! Kick that man into the sun!
According to the FTC, Take-Two and Rockstar failed to notify consumers that Grand Theft Auto San Andreas contained otherwise hidden nudity and a sexually themed minigame. The settlement today requires that the companies must now develop a system to ensure that all game content is considered and reviewed before being submitted to the ratings authority.
That's it?
Wrist slap, no fine, mustn't happen again. We couldn't have hoped for better than that.
So while effectively nothing happens to Rockstar, the same thing can't be said for Jack.
Florida Bar Association wants to disbar me for unprofessional conduct.
I have reviewed over 2,000 pages of submitted transcripts that contend that you have abused the legal system by submitting numerous frivolous and inappropriate filings to court, that you've made false statements to tribunals, and that you've engaged in incidents of libel and slander.
I've also been given your message and voice history from Xbox Live, as well as hours of you playing Call of Duty. You are done, son.
Your Honor, the real fact of the matter is, these people don't like me.
Your Honor, these guys are mean. Don't listen to them.
I just heard Jack Thompson's been permanently disbarred from practicing law.
Brutal, savage, wrecked, absolutely taken down.
Today, I'm announcing, along with my colleagues, the Family Entertainment Protection Act. We need to treat violent video games the way we treat tobacco, alcohol, and pornography.
And Governor Schwarzenegger has banned the sale of violent games to minors in California. You are winning. The law is changing.
No. Clinton's bill never became law, and Arnold's got nuked by the Supreme Court. Get wrecked, scrubs. The last noteworthy aspect of the movie is the weird tension between Sam and Jamie.
Also, I've just heard there is 63 tracks you still haven't licensed.
I'm on it. They take time.
Come on, mate. You Mr. Wolf. Where's Jamie?
How should I know?
Is he away somewhere? He's not in San Diego or Edinburgh, is he?
He wasn't in yesterday either.
Dan, do you know where Jamie is? What, he's not been in for 2 days. You want to let me in?
No.
We need you.
I quit. Sam, I'm gonna leave.
Don't leave.
I need a break.
Come here. Come here.
This is awkward.
You're one of the most important people in my life. I need you.
I'm still gonna leave.
And then he left. I mean that literally. In real life in 2006, Jamie left the company. I don't know why this was a key thing they felt they had to put in the movie. And so that ends this very unique video for the channel. I've never done something like this before. It's simply after seeing the movie, it felt like such a unique opportunity because the movie is absolute bollocks. While I don't think the movie is particularly enjoyable, I hope this video is enjoyable for you, and I hope Rockstar, Take-Two, or the BBC don't sue me into oblivion. Please don't do that. As always, I wish you all the best.